Okay. We have begun. All right. I did a whole slide presentation for this session. It's official. And I spelled Wisdom Wednesday correctly. There's no spell check required. It's great. Okay, so here's the agenda that I had that I just wanted to kind of review with everybody. You know, we had a great turnout for Halloween this week in the Orangeville and Brampton office. So I just wanted to share that. And then, but just the amount of news, Bill 23, what's happening with pre-construction, what's happening with immigration, yada yada yada. There's a ton more that's been happening. So I just want to touch on those things. I want to briefly overview some of the social media ideas and stuff that came out of last week's session with Chris Leader. As I said, I had a very amazing door knocking epiphany, and actually just want to kind of share that in concept. I want to chat about listing paperwork, and actually, let's chat about that now.
No worries.
I'm just going to switch up this. As you can see, we have Charisse and Serena in the Brampton office that, I mean, Charisse's been here now for a few months. Actually, I shouldn't say a few months, almost like 8 months. And then, but Serena started with us a couple weeks ago. And we have, of course, we have said our thank yous, and Katrina has moved up to the Wasaga Beach office. So you won't see Katrina at the front desk. FYI, she's moved up to actually Barrie. So she's going from Barrie to Wasaga for now. So we're happy to keep hanging on to good people always. But she's not in the Brampton office. But Charisse and Serena both experience with other brokerages, so they come on board with just vast knowledge. So we're really happy to have both of them. But on this point, one of the things, and Mom and I were talking to someone yesterday, big problems we're having right now. FYI, we're not able to sell houses in a market. Like there are some products that are just really difficult to sell right now. We had an agent, 2 agents actually, that they have a client trying to get out of their contract with Century 21 Millennium. So I really just wanted to kind of walk through that process there, but we can't enforce and protect our agents keeping their investments if you don't fill out your paperwork, complete signatures, and then as well making sure that they, indeed, the sellers, have their paperwork. You know, if there's any changes and corrections, you gotta go back to the basics of filling out your paperwork, because now the rubber's hitting the road, and either we can help you and keep that, or we just cannot. Do you just want to add something to that, Joanne?
Oh, you know, I'm squirming too. Yes, absolutely. And again, with that strong paper trail, man, I can do battle any day for you. When there's loopholes in that, and the clients have those gotcha moments, they're all looking for a loophole, because it's like, you're not doing enough. And let me tell you that the 2 situations we've had in the past week, I was so proud of our sales reps. Like, perfect job, perfect paper trails. One agent actually said, "Are you kidding me? With all the nagging you do about you better have a good paper trail." Like, it was resolved immediately because of that strong paper trail. So trust me, what we want to, well, yesterday, while I was being lambasted by someone very rude and aggressive, she informed me that she took all of her paperwork to a broker owner of another company who's been coaching her how to get out of her contract, you know, because, you know, 70 plus showings, 3 offers wasn't just enough instead of a price reduction. So I just need you to be totally aware. These are, I mean, Trevor's doing battle day in and day out like this right now. It is what happens when the market turns. But when you've got your paperwork done properly, I'll tell you, there's no backing down at all. So,
and I'll add to that. One of the things that, you know, if you have your paperwork filled out properly and you're doing your job, you know, there's that honeymoon period between, I don't know, 30 days, 45 days that a seller will be giving you that forgiveness. And then it passes that point, they start getting frustrated, angry, and frankly panicking. And we get it. You know, they're in specific situations where they're losing perceived money. And then what's happening, I've been hearing ever since actually when we went to Newfoundland, I've been getting 2 or 3 calls a week from people threatening to sue us as a brokerage because they're not getting the dollars that they said they were guaranteed from the agent. You know, they're going to file RICO complaints. Anybody can sue you for any reason. Anybody can file a RICO complaint, but your paperwork holds you to have that confidence. So
Yeah.
it's just a reminder. I know you might get pushback from the girls at the front. You're missing this paperwork. You're missing this initial. You're not alone, guys. That's what our job is. We're tracking that and making sure that your paperwork is good, and we don't rush it either. I think, you know, when paperwork comes into the front there, you know, it's dealt with pretty much immediately. And whenever there's something missing, then the back and forth start going back. Don't get frustrated with the front desk. Give them that courtesy, professionalism. We're just here to make sure everything is filled out.
And Trevor, I want to add to that, because the person who got reported to RICO last week had kept such an impeccable paper trail and has been with us a long time, and I've actually tormented him a few times about his lousy paperwork. So this was so, I was like, oh no, okay, come on, we got to get on this right away. Send me all your paperwork. It was to perfection. It is the first time we've ever had a RICO complaint go in one day, and the next day, after I had sent everything off to the RICO compliance officer, I got the sweetest email I've ever gotten. You know, we have reviewed your paperwork. It is absolutely impeccable and up to date, and this case will be closed immediately. It was like, that's right, because the paperwork speaks to any complaint or any loophole that someone is trying to, you know, set you up in. So good on them. I was real proud. So that was a regular case being solved, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Trevor, in your previous comments there about 30 seconds ago, you said that one of the agents guaranteed a price. Is that the right choice of words, or did he actually?
Right. That's what the seller claimed. So to be clear, the seller claimed I was guaranteed this price.
Okay.
And nowhere in writing, nowhere in an email, nowhere in text is that. So, you know, truth is it's an interesting word. There's points of view. There's whatever's in writing, contract law, and what I mean. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, is this like we have a contract? What does that mean? And you know, I've circled back several times, especially over the last couple of months, to Wesley Jackson on just, hey, this is happening in this scenario. Just clarify. I know it's this, but just echo it back to me. Am I right with this? And absolutely, if it's in the contract, we're going to follow that contract law. So it's really black and white in that way. The one thing that I would say, and I've asked Christina to insert this, a Schedule B. We've talked about it in the past. I think Shazad shared a Schedule B that if in the scenario there is a possibility that the client wants to cancel the contract with the brokerage, that there would be a scenario where the seller pays for any expenses incurred by the agent. I'm going to include that in our schedule as an option to our templates as a Schedule B. You don't have to do anything, but I think I'm going to strongly recommend that as a scenario, because I don't want to say too much about it, except if there's a scenario where there's an option for them to get out of the contract paying their expenses, it's a good option to have. So
yeah, because the sellers are certainly still expecting the same type of services. They're expecting you to really invest in the marketing of their homes. So yeah, that's a real safeguard.
Cool. So that's that. What else? What else? So welcome.
For 9187 Side Road 24.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna put Rachel there. She sounds lovely. Working hard. So Teresa and Serena, and then what else we got here? These are our Halloween photos. Congratulations to everybody who participated. Honestly, my black leather outfit, I just bought it. I didn't buy it for Halloween. I just bought it because I look good in black leather. Obvi, Tony and Linda there. Look at the Orangeville office. Theodora reminded me on Monday. She's like, just so you're clear, Orangeville beat Brampton in the spirit of Halloween. I'm like, okay, all right, it's not a competition, but sure, yeah, I guess it is. So
They're
I think
overachievers up there, Trevor.
they are.
That's a true story.
They are.
Yes,
So Linda,
Linda,
you
you
actually
really
won
did
with
it up.
Tony, right?
Just saying, we're rocking.
You are.
Rocking.
But I gotta say, Parth's costume now, wow. He really invested in that one.
Yeah, he went hardcore. He went all the way on that one. Polly's costume was ridiculous, actually, with that tail and
Yes.
all the apparatus she had.
Yes.
Some
I
good
know,
stuff.
yeah, that's full on. You got serious about that costume, Holly.
She actually went out onto the street and started flapping her wings. And I'm not kidding you, she stopped traffic. I was there with Ryan and Parth, and like there's just a guy staring at her, stopping traffic, like, let's go, let's go. So that was great. That was fun. So in Orangeville, Linda and Tony both won the best costume. Congratulations. And then in Brampton, I don't know where the vote was, but Parth won that competition as well. And I think there was a little video done for him. Isn't that special? Isn't that special? That's cute. Did you guys hear about this?
Wait, did I just win something? Sorry.
Yeah, buddy, you win. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so happy. You just made my day.
There you go.
Wait,
need to get
can I take a screenshot,
certificate
please?
there.
Can I take a
you
screenshot
go.
of this, please?
Is it your first time winning, Parth?
As a Charlie Chaplin, yes. And for Halloween, yes, as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done, Parth. Rico reduces their registrants fees effective next March. So that's interesting. I mean, I've heard comments. I don't know if anybody was aware of this, but they are reducing their fees as of March 1st. So
Everybody should have got that in their emails.
yeah.
Yeah.
As far as like what's happening in the news right now, I'll share I just wanted to pull up a few articles that you guys hear about Bill 123, or sorry, Bill 23. This is a major, and I've been kind of digesting it. The reason I know a little bit about this, my brother as a heritage architect is being affected by this, and you know, you've got urban planners that are using heritage within a city or a region as part of the strategy for city planning. So anything that is on a list for potential heritage within a city within Ontario, you basically have, I think it's 1 year. No, sorry, it's 2 years to work through them all to deem them either heritage or not heritage. And now if you go to do or apply for something and it's not on the list, the designation list as heritage, it's not even going to be a factor. They're just going to put that through. It's either heritage right now or it's not. You apply, it's not heritage, go ahead, which will absolutely, especially in the Toronto area, for heritage is a really big deal down in Toronto because they have all these older buildings. So if you've got an older building, it's not on the list and it's not deemed heritage, now you can just do that application and it's not going to get tied up for the next, frankly, 2, 3, 5, 10 years. That can really get tied up. So that's a big development story that's happening for developers. So that's interesting. What else here? immigration, you guys heard about in 2025, they're going to be bumping that up to, the goal is now 500,000 people per year into Canada. So that's, sorry, into Canada. So that's big news. And will of course put pressure on the supply and demand in the markets as well too. What else? That's Bill 124. Yeah, 500,000 immigrants by 2025. Yeah, anyways, I just want to share. Are you guys hearing about this? And if not, I just wanted to kind of bring that to light. These are conversation points as an agent you'll come across as well, right? So.
Korea also introduced the no more exclusives either.
What's that, Michael?
I said Korea has introduced no more exclusive listings come January 1st.
Yes.
You have 3 days to make sure it gets onto MLS. You're not allowed to advertise anything that is not going to be on MLS.
Yeah, and as what we're hearing right now, Michael, because we did discuss that one last week, they're getting intense pushback on that.
Yep.
So you're really seeing the arguments come through about why exclusive listings are indeed necessary in many instances. So they've put a hold.
Yeah, I penned a letter myself.
Yeah, good. Yeah, but again, guys, keep yourselves really informed of these things, because nothing would feel more embarrassing for you than your client talking to you about some of these things and you don't have an understanding, or you're not totally up to date with that. So
yeah, actually just the one last thing that I'll share there is the pre-construction. I mean, I just saw this as a headline the other day, but definitely we can see that that is slowing down in the markets. That's a pretty big deal. Again, I'm not reporting as if we can do anything about it. This is what's happening. The pre-construction sales have definitely dropped. I suspect, of course, because the implementation of new rules for HST for investors to be paying that took place, or that took effect earlier this year, along with pressure of obviously money with your pulling from your home line of credit. Less investors are going to be putting money down for the assignment to assign that a little later on. So there's a bunch of factors in there as well too, but just again, I think I mentioned this in last week's meeting. I had a pre-construction brokerage reach out to me the week before, and then I had another builder reach out to me before, which interesting how the tables have turned. As I was chasing them before for the last couple of years, they're now starting to chase me. So if anybody's interested in anything pre-construction, I'm getting lots of calls on that, where they're bringing pretty huge incentives to bring buyers there. So
Trevor, is Aman on the call? I wonder if he could just give us how he's doing, because he's probably doing the most.
I saw his face.
Aman, are you there?
he was there.
He was.
Should I go knock on his door?
No, that's okay. If he came off the call, he's probably
He's on the call. He's on a call or something.
talking to one of his clients that
He's probably already talking to the builders.
yeah.
I just want to go through. I took a few pictures from last week's Chris Leader training. I obviously I'm not going to go through everything. It was a whole day of stuff, but there's some important slides here. Michael, you were there. Parth, you were there. A bunch of you guys were on that session. I mean, overall, like, what did you, Theodora, you're on the call. Like, what did you think of last week's session on? I mean, that was a full day of social media talk. How did you kind of feel after that day of training?
Yeah, so week 3 now, it's this girl from LA, a very young real estate agent. She's only 23 and she's an amazing speaker. I don't know how she's doing as a real estate agent, but as a speaker, definitely she was awesome. Well, always with social media, right? And she pointed out, okay, this is her name, yeah, Chloe. You guys can follow her. She's only 3 years in the business.
And she's 23 years old.
Yeah,
That's what was shocking. Like, I'm listening to her speak. She didn't stutter. She didn't, she just, for 7 hours went boom, boom, boom. And I was just, wow, this girl's 23 years old. I don't even think I could shave at 23 years old. She was just so well put together and such an eloquent speaker, and found her niche and her platform to get her story out to the market.
right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So a few points that she made, right? Consistency. You have to make a commitment to be consistent and to know your audience, who you speak to, who's your audience, what's the content that you're putting out there. Is it relevant? Is it not? Follow all the stats, see what's working, what's not working. The one thing she said, to post the same thing on all the platforms that you're using, so you're saving time and then you're on all of them. Make that part of the 5 highs every day, like calls, texts, emails, and then 5 posts every week, or 5 comments, whatever you do. Other than that, what else did she had great tips on like YouTube videos, just to keep them short, to add search words for your video. Yeah, to use the sounds. You can have free.
Yeah, I just took
Files.
pictures here, Theodora. I'm just kind of going through them, but like there's just so much within that time period. Now I know I was chatting with Michael as well earlier this week. He's like, yeah, she didn't really dive into the weeds though of how to do some of these videos. I agree with you, Michael. She was kind of like, I wouldn't say surface, but she was definitely going through the basics that you do have to keep in mind. She was getting into some of the, like, some of the tools, some of the equipment that you should be grabbing. But as far as like how, one question I know Tony had last week, she's like, hey, I don't know how to do some of these videos. I don't know how to do some of them. And not that I'm going to try and accomplish that today, but I just wanted to, there was 2 things that I took away that I never knew about before. The first one is, sure, my Jim, refrain from referring to my unopened emails, please. But this is, I just did a screen share of the software iMovie, and I was like, oh, I've never used that as an editing tool. So when you're doing your reels, or you're doing any editing on your phone with some pictures and videos and stuff, I just kind of did a screen share. You go to your iMovie, and this is obviously with, if you've got an iPhone, it's on your iPhone there. So this is just a screen share. I'm grabbing a bunch of photos. I'm going to create what's called a magic. Actually, let me just back up here and press pause. So you can make this little magic movie of all these different photos kind of brought together. You can do a storyboard. So it's using these templates to make a video or a trailer, and then a movie where you can actually take a bunch of videos and you can start editing through that as well too. There's so much editing, whether you're voice to text, all these tools are on here. And I had zero training this. I downloaded it this morning and I started playing with it. I was like, this is so easy on your iPhone and on a device for editing films, which then once that is edited, you can either upload that, I guess, as a video, but more so as a reel on Instagram. So again, just kind of letting that go through. You select your pictures here, and then creates the movie. Then hits play, plays. It comes with default music. I don't know if you guys can do that or not. I don't like Magic Movie. I gotta go in and make changes to the title there. Again, I didn't put any training into this whatsoever. I did this. I just wanted you guys. She mentioned this in the meeting, and I started using it today, and boom, like an iPhone software or any quality app, the learning curve was not significant at all. It was very easy, and you got a video put together here. And then once you're good with that and you're happy with that, then of course there's a button here at the top, and you can just export that into your say video, and away it goes there. And then it goes, and I go back into my photos and videos there, and it's already there.
Can I chime in for Samsung?
Yes, Holly, yes, please do.
Because I'm not an iPhone user. So just so you know, if you open up your photo, where your photo album is, there are 3 dots at the top right of your screen. You can hit create, and then there is a highlight reel that you can create. You can create a movie, and it's the same idea that Trevor's just gone over.
You're talking about on Instagram?
No, on a Samsung phone,
Okay,
because you're just
Android.
talking about iPhone, and I have
Android.
sorry, Android.
yeah. You know, and what I think, what came out of last week is there's so many softwares and we get really overwhelmed. Like Tony was like, I've never seen this before. I need someone to walk me through this. I agree. Like that's how I learn as well too. I go step by step by step. But Chloe really echoed this point as well. Google it, YouTube it. How to
And it's free.
What's that, Michael?
And it's free.
Of course. Like how to do something on YouTube step by step. And actually, even in my little invitation that I sent out yesterday, I made sure, let me see if I got some of these up open here. How to use TikTok, 2002 beginners for beginners, right? It just goes step by step by step on how to use that. I'm not going to go through this video here, but it's YouTube is a great resource. And that's how I learn this stuff. I get all nerdy out, but it's not even nerdy. I don't know, hit play. And then I'll watch that as well too. So that was cool. Again, she had some, well, actually, so that what I just showed you there, that's iMovie, and then you can use it in your native Instagram. Like Instagram has, you can create your own reels. Again, I sent a couple videos on how to create reels using Instagram. You guys can watch that afterwards as a reference as well. But this software, I use this one for Camtasia. I've just got my videos here, and I plug it in, and I pull in software for the music, I should say, and I make my video. It looks, guys, I know it looks really tech savvy. It's not. It's like pulling into photo, pulling into video. It's really easy. iMovie does the exact same thing. And then when you're done with it, sorry, forgive me here, like that video right here that I just showed you, oops, too loud. That's the video that I did in Camtasia, whether I did it in iMovie, whether I did it in the Android app, whether I did it, whatever it is, you got your video content, and then there's a software to cut it up, add music, add text if you want, and then it goes into your reels. The one thing that, you know, the purpose of social media, just to kind of, you know, take a couple steps back here. Why are we on Facebook? Why are we on Instagram? Why are we on all these social networks? That some of us go, I want to get leads from these platforms. Great, so do I. I mean, absolutely. What is your story though? She was really firm on, I don't use it to get leads. I use it, so whatever my marketing silo is that I'm actually putting effort and time and money into it, when they go to look at my Instagram, everything is in sync. The look is the same, the message is the same. She's using Instagram, Facebook, all the social media platforms to edify her marketing efforts. So I just, as an expectation, I totally line up with that. I totally line up. The biggest concern and frustration you guys have with social media is I do it and I don't see a direct lead or return on that. I would absolutely echo that. I think of all the agents we have, there might be 2 or 3 in our company that are actively getting leads outside of their sphere of influence simply from the social media platform that they're doing. Was that a question? No, I'm just going to mute that. Any comments on that? You guys agree with that? You disagree with that? That's not your goal. Like any feedback there? Yes, Bert.
Just think it's, I may be wrong, but I just think it's it works better for girls and younger girls or younger realtors, female realtors, more than it would work for someone like me. So probably it's not necessarily one of the tools I may be all excited about, but if any one of you is doing that, the key is to be consistent. So if you're doing a video, don't just do one or two and forget about it. It has to be done like how we do Wisdom Wednesdays, right? Like every Wednesday, every Thursday, every whichever day you pick, and it
Yeah.
has to be consistent.
You know, hey, Parth, I mean, I get your point. I mean, I gotta say, I see some of the greatest influencers on, say, TikTok or on social media. Like I'm honest, there's a guy in Toronto, his name is Vass. That guy is so smart. He just sits in his car. He's not a pretty guy at all. And he's actually, English is not his first language. He's got a strong accent, but he is articulate, he's smart, and he just sits in his car and he just blah, 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 blah. And then he's speaking to that audience. We all have insecurities, whether you're a male or a female, about perception of what people want out of this for us. I think you got to change the expectations of trying to get followers outside of your sphere of influence. And just keep in mind, people who are entering into your marketing strategy, whether your farm area, whether your social network, whether your sphere of influence, it's the messages for those people. And then if somebody happens to come across you that's a complete stranger, that's a bonus. That's a bonus. So that was a real kind of listening to her was something that was, I was like, yeah, we need to reset that expectation as well. Another thing that we already, what's funny is everything I'm saying to you guys right now, I think most of you are going, yeah, I knew that, Trevor. Yes, I knew that. And you can say that about, frankly, a lot of topics in the real estate world. We know everything already. We just got to apply it. And I went on to, she shared this girl's, this was an agent out in Vancouver, and she had a wonderful video just on herself. And let me just see if I can find that video there. That she played. I can't find it right now. It was just like an overview video. It was amazing. It was lovely. But I look at like Brad Harmon up in Orangeville. Like, this guy's got he's got more subscribers than that girl Kate that Chloe was edifying in her presentation last week. Brad turned around to me at one point, like, dude, you could totally teach this session about video. He's been doing this for years, right? And he's becoming a resource for these communities. And again, I'm not going to dive deep on what he's doing. Holly Parks has got a channel there. Leslie, I don't think Leslie's on the call, but I hope this audio comes through. Can you guys hear the audio when I hit play? I don't know.
Have you thought?
Yep.
I'm Leslie Stoner, with Century 21 Millennium. And in this complicated real estate market, who you work with truly matters. If you've had thoughts about selling,
I mean, you guys get the gist of that video as a YouTube channel. I don't know how many views has that one got? 169 views. She's not doing it for the stranger. She's doing it for when she does a listing presentation, or she meets somebody at a social function and they scan her business card, or they follow her on YouTube. It's those connections. The marketing effort was the face-to-face, nose to nose, toes to toes, as Chris Leader was saying last week. That's what sales is, right? The social media is to edify what we're doing. So if you knew about having a YouTube channel and you haven't done it, why not? Like, why not? She's got 11,000 followers in 3 years as a 23-year-old. And I would say the majority of the people on this call know just as much as this person about real estate, if not more, frankly. Like, she just started during COVID. And again, all due respect to her, but I'm saying, Michael Ballmer, you got 15, 20 years in the business of knowledge. Like, way more, but you don't have a YouTube channel. Actually, I don't know if you do or not. I didn't look this morning, but like, there's things that we know. Sorry, Mike.
I do, but I don't think I have any subscribers. I set it up, after leaving the meeting last Friday.
Yeah. So, I mean, and cool, but
Trevor?
look, you're gapping yourself. Yeah, Parth.
Can I share a quick video? I follow this girl. She works for Remax, but she's very consistent. I like her videos.
$76,000 from the peak market of February. Throughout Canada, there were 34,989 sales in September, which is a drop of 32.3% year over year and 3.9% drop from August. This is the 7th consecutive month to experience a drop in sales, which is very different from every other fall we've experienced. Slower sales were seen in Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, and Montreal, and activity was 12% below the pre-pandemic average for this month. The average price of a home in Canada is now approximately $640,000, which is down 6.6% yearly and 1.2% monthly.
Yeah, hey, Parth, we get the message big, loud and clear, and yes. She's
But
got,
Trevor, I mean, Parth, she is reading the, like, for us, the Trev Market report, reading it verbatim. And we've
Verbatim.
got that beautiful context lounge downstairs. So if you're stuck for something, go down, look, make yourself look comfortable in that beautiful space down there and read that report
I'm
to
going to try
everybody
doing
that,
this. Thank you. I'm going to try doing this. I'm
yeah,
going to
do
try
it
doing
as an
this. Is one thing.
experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you need to pull some positivity out of that report though, too, because she just scared the shit out of all buyers and sellers. So don't read it verbatim, read it first and then figure out how to explain it safely to your clients so that they'll still trust you and want to buy or sell.
you know, and on that point, I 100% agree. And as a person that has anxiety, whatever I put out there as far as video content, I want it to be the right message. I want it to have the right attitude and the right, you know, I want the person receiving it in the intended way. One thing that you know that Chloe was saying there, like, don't overthink it. Like, let's just put out that video, let's put out the content. But you're right, Michael, you got to be thoughtful, and you got to have the intention behind it as well too. So yeah, no,
And be authentic. She said, be authentic, be yourself. Don't try to copy anyone and speak to your audience and just get the message. You know, think that you're in front of them, whoever you want to target or wherever your audience is. And I think it will get easier.
Exactly.
If
She
you
also said that it only took her 20 minutes to do the whole video, to come up with the concept and to edit it.
yeah, I think that was a little bit, that's, you know, it's interesting. You can spend a lot of time doing social media. I think it's got to be a balance, right? Like, I think for some people, especially at first, it's going to take a long time to do it. Like I did this video the other day. It was silly, but whatever. I put that video up and it probably took me about an hour of doing that. What was the purpose of it? I don't even know what the purpose of it was, but like, I'm top of mind that day on social media with the sphere of influence. And whatever your story, what are you pitching, right? So if you go through Trevor's feed, I have no idea what this guy's pitching. He looks like a fun time though. That's it. That's all he's pitching, right? But it's about recruiting, it's about management, it's about brokerage. Your message is about educating buyers and sellers. So where's your educational videos? That's what Parth kind of pulled up there. There was an educational component to that. That seems to be a great kind of idea or platform to have. One thing, Theodore and I were on a call yesterday with a company. We're trying to roll out on a different project, but they were kind of reviewing, hey, we've got the top 10, just a short list of top 10 subject matters that an agent should be discussing when doing a reel. So we're working on putting something together there for you guys, just as ideas. If you haven't got your Instagram going, if you don't have your Facebook group going, you guys revisit it. When we do our business plan at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, or midway through, our business plan is all about our marketing that we're doing. It's really, yeah, we're doing a business plan, but it's for us, what is our business? Our business is marketing. That is our activities. Those are our tasks. So do you have everything you need to do? I mean, this is just, social media is just one component. The other thing she mentioned, which I don't think you guys are, I think a lot of people miss this one, is this Linktree link in your profile. Now, she did say that you can do multiple links, but yeah, follow the link, sure. This is just kind of like a, hey, I got a video housed on YouTube somewhere. You can learn a little bit more about scheduling something here. You can have multiple listings here, order your listing kit, whatever that message is. Now, for an agent, you're going to be like, working with buyers, find out more information about working with buyers. And maybe it's going to a YouTube video that you've got there as well, too. YouTube is phenomenal. I mean, I've seen Instagram reels go viral, like, 2,000, 3,000. For me, that's viral. If you ask a person like, I don't know, 100,000. My daughter has a video that's 2.4 million views. What is she? It's just her do a little dance. There's no content there, really. I mean, but that's viral, okay? But like I've got videos, I think just sharing how to do Authenticign. I think that one's up to like 5,000 views, and it's there forever. And it's, these are all just, again, great ideas for, let me just stop the sharing here. Just great ideas to, again, get your story out there to the audiences, whatever you're doing, whether it be door knocking, whether it be flyers in the mail, whether it be newsletters you're sending out, phone calls, all those are your activities, those are your marketing activities. Where do you have them going to? And these platforms allow you to have your story kind of expressed there. Okay, I'm on that point where I'm talking too much. Someone interrupt.
Trevor, yeah, I'll interrupt. I see Aman's face again. Hi, Aman. We were talking about you. I guess you were probably talking to somebody. Can you give us a little update on your lovely pre-con world there and how things are going, and what's the best way to be working within pre-construction right now?
So pre-con is anybody's game right now, to be honest. Builders are begging, they are on the floor, kneeling down. So anybody who wants to go into pre-con, this is the best time because there's no allocations. It's open 4 to 6% commissions, but at the same time, it's very hard to sell.
So, I mean, Aman, yes, it's a good time because the door is open for new people. So it's a good time to build a relationship with a builder or developer, but they're still looking for guys like you who have a track record. They really want the people who have gotten results for them. Is that still accurate?
Yeah, it is. They still do those VIP platinum events with us. We get to have the access to the inventory and the marketing material ahead of anybody else. But even though we get it, we tried selling, marketing, putting money into advertising. It's very hard to sell. People don't just buy because price point is the big issue. They are still selling the same prices as March 2022.
Oh, wow.
Even though they're closing in 23, 24, if a townhome, for example, in Niagara, a resale 1 year old is now 650, a pre-con is selling for 790 to 800. So people don't want to buy that, that market is going to go back, and there will be a $150,000 appreciation. And
do you see a particular project out there right now, Aman, that you think is like this is good value for anybody wanting to get in on that with their clients?
There is one in Brampton, actually. It's from Live Communities. They're offering 4% commission. The project is called Maya. They are urban townhomes, and builder just reduced $100,000 on the price. And they are throwing in incentives of free appliances, free AC. I think still at 770 starting point, 3-story townhome in Brampton is not bad. So that's something to be worked on, and it's open to everybody. It's a good commission there, 4%. And the deposit structure is also 10% paid over 1 year. Actually, no, 210 days. Split in 4 different installments. So especially we are in Brampton, so for us, we have somebody who wants to invest 2 years down the line. In 2024, I'm sure 770 is something which will upraise easy. But at the same time, if you're selling in Niagara or Kitchener or Brantford or Barrie, that's a no-go. Don't waste your time on that.
Are your investors still pushing for the flip, or are they settling down somewhat now and planning to wait it out? Like, how are you finding that aspect?
Well, they're all closing. That's what I've been working on for the last
Good.
3 months. There's no assignment sales at all. So we're finding money from wherever we can.
Yeah.
So if you hear any ATM broken, that's my investor.
That you out working with your clients, eh?
Just-
Thank you, Aman, for that update.
Just a few more things I want to go through. Just a reminder, on the 16th of November, we're in November. We've got this 2-hour Zoom meeting we're going to be doing. It is mandatory, FinTrack compliance. Everybody needs to be on that. We'll be sending a communication out that, but just book that in your calendars right now at 10:30 for 2 hours. Cassandra Agnew Walker is going to be doing that. The other thing I just wanted to mention here, buyer representation agreements. When you have a BRA signed, registering that as with your board there as a that you've got that buyer representation agreement. I had an agent last week. She had learned her lesson from previous years. So she's registered, she got the BRA signed, gave a copy to the client, and then she went and registered that BRA through the registry, and it's on there. So technically, everybody, if you've got a buyer representation, or you're working with a buyer, you need to go and actually go to the registry yourself to see if they're already working with another client. They may say we're not working with somebody, but it is on our shoulders to go and actually check for that. She has registered that. The client actually went with another agent. They purchased something. And just FYI, she's going through the process of suing that buyer to get her commissions there. So it is starting to happen. It's always been happening, frankly. You work very hard taking these people out, doing offers with them. They get frustrated, not because of the player, because of the game. It was a difficult time back then. And they've jumped ship and working with another agent. You're owed your commission there. And if there's a scenario, which I did reach out to the other brokerage, spoke to the manager over there, hey, can we work on something? Is there a compromise we can do with the other agent? Because as soon as we file that lawsuit, you know then that the buyer's going to go, well, we didn't know. That guy never told us what we needed to do. And then they're going to then turn around and file a RICO complaint claiming that that new agent never told them their responsibilities, because they're going to have to pay an additional 2.5% now, which they didn't have to do before. So it becomes a little bit of a mess. Although the manager did say, wow, Trevor, good on your agent for doing this. Like, he was totally impressed with that. He's like, my agent, he's saying no. And he, through code, said, we'll see what happens when the lawsuit comes, because that's when then he's going to be put into trouble. Did he go and check the registry? And the manager said directly to me, no, he did not, Trevor. I'm like, well, so you're supposed to do, right? He's like, yep, absolutely. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up as a little story there. And then the last point that I had, I just wanted to, I reached out to Rod this morning. We were texting back and forth. And he's like, hey, high ratio dropped, rates just dropped from 5.4% down to 5.29% for a 25-year amortization under $1 million. For larger deals or a 30-year amortization, it went from 5.84 to 5.54. I find that interesting news in a market where interest rates are fighting inflation. Of course, I'm not the economist. There's reasons why the fix is actually being brought down, because blah, 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 blah. Again, I'm not going to dive into that, except this is what's happening in this economy. So I find that interesting. Does that change behavior? There's so many dynamic things that are happening out there, between politics, between government policies, between the bureaucracy of interest rates to fight the inflation. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to go. But I'm just trying to stay as informed as possible as a real estate professional for your clients, right? So yeah, that's that. Any comments, questions that you guys are working on this week? Yeah, we've got, yeah.
Did I miss the door knocking epiphany? Or-
Oh, yeah. Does the person who I had the epiphany with want to participate? I don't want to be so. No, here's the epiphany. Agent comes into my office. We start chatting, blah, 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 door knocking, door knocking. Trevor, I knocked on 1,000 doors last week. Okay. Didn't go so well. Okay. So what was the scenario? What happened? Well, I talked to 300 people. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. This wasn't art, as you know, by the way. I talked to 300 people, and let's say a third of them, get off my property, grab their gun and gave it a cock and get up. No, nobody does that, guys. But let's say a third of them said not interested. Another third of them said, I can't. Even if I wanted to move financially, I can't move. I just bought, say, 3 years ago. My house isn't. I leveraged my home equity line of credit. I'm in debt. I'm stuck. And there's a lot of people in that scenario, frankly. And then a good chunk of that 300, I think he said about 50, the response was simply, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. I don't, even if I wanted to move from, say, downtown Brampton, I don't know where I'm going. And so I'm chatting with him and I'm like, well, that's success. You've identified the 3 problems, right? Number one, they financially can't, I don't know what the solution is there, but like, hey, I don't know where I'm going. What if when you knocked on the door, the goal was not to get a listing presentation, to tell them what the value of their home is? Isn't that what we're doing door knocking for the majority of our pitches? Hey, can I tell you what your house is worth? Hey, you know what that house sold for over there? Hey, like, okay, that's the same. What if we said, and this is the epiphany, Holly, which you're gonna be like, Trevor, I've been doing that for 20 years. What are you talking? Well, happy anniversary. By the way, Holly's been in the business 20 years on Friday.
Woo, Holly. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Holly. But like, what if the pitch is, hey, if you're thinking about selling, the biggest challenge, frankly, is most people don't know where they're going. What I find in the downtown Brampton area, there are 3 neighborhoods that people move from downtown Brampton and they go towards. And what I'd like to do is set up a meeting. Maybe I can sit down with you and your husband or your wife or your partner, whatever it is. And I want to tell you what those 3 places are specifically, those neighborhoods, and why, and the sort of amenities, the types of demographics, and why people are actually moving to there geographically, why they're, because when you're in this area in downtown Brampton, you're there for very specific reasons. Or you're in this neighborhood in Brampton at Bramley and Beauvais for a very specific reason. What are those specific reasons and how do those transfer? That's something that, as far as I don't want to talk about the sale of your home, because whether you sell today or 2 years from now, you're buying in the same market. So the dollars, it's all relative at that point. It's our biggest challenge is where we're going. That's the crux right now. They don't know where they're going. They think the neighborhood they live in is the best neighborhood in the world. That's why they've lived there for 20 years. So I don't know, was that an epiphany that I just discovered, being in the business? Or is that what you guys are already doing? Who does a lot of door knocking here who has done that as a conversation already? Brad, stop smiling and smirking. Brad's like, Trevor, I remember my first beer. Brad, are you coming across that conversation?
The conversation about what? Maintaining relationships?
No, the conversation, instead of knocking on the door saying, let me tell you what your house is worth, and let me sit down and do a listing presentation to sell your home, the conversation of, hold on a second, you live in Peel Village. In Peel Village, which is where I live, I moved there because my kids go to a Catholic school, and this is the dynamic, and this is the diversity here, and these are the amenities, and I like being here so close to the 410. I like being here because there's a Lowe's over there. I like being here because of the neighborhood. But those people from Peel Village, they go to 3 places. Number one, they go to Orangeville, and specifically in Orangeville, they're going to this type of neighborhood because it still gives them access to the Highway 10 and blah, 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 blah. Let me sit down with you and tell you what the 3 neighborhoods are that you should be considering, and whether it's make a decision today or it's something over the next couple of years you're going to think about. But that's a unique conversation I don't hear. I've never heard of anybody telling me that's the conversation they have when they come to the door. Am I the only one that found that to be news, or what do you
So,
think, Brad? You do that?
So there's a reason why I have a geo farm in Brampton and one in Orangeville. And even people who don't use me in my Heart Lake farm, I will find out from door knocking in my Orangeville farm that they moved to my Orangeville farm. The correlation between people moving from North Brampton to Orangeville was extremely high, which made it very easy for me to justify having the two separate farms. And I have moved people from my Brampton farm to my Orangeville farm many times.
Are you doing that specifically when you knock on a door right now? Because you are still hardcore, you still knock on doors. Are you pitching them on the listing presentation to sell their house in this market to get X amount of dollars? Or when they say back to you, I just don't know where I'm going, I don't know where I'm moving to, do you switch it up to, well, then let's start talking about what those areas are that you could actually go out to?
My focus when door knocking is always about building relationships and getting contact information. That's the first step. I always look at things and I compartmentalize. I'm not trying to get the transaction in one conversation. It's a matter of continuing a conversation and building a relationship. I don't even go like, are you thinking about selling your home? Isn't something I haven't asked that question as like the core conversation in years. My entire focus is, hey, look, do you have any questions? Is there anything I can do to help you? I want to be your real estate resource. I'd love to get you on my gingerbread man list. I'd love to get you, I'd love to send you our community.
You're just connecting with these people then. You're connecting with them on a relationship.
No, but it's a long-term thing. There's a million people who will ask them, are you looking at selling right now? Tell me your intimate decision-making process for you and your family for the next 10 years. That shit doesn't work because it's not personal. You're not actually understanding the reason they need to move. You're not understanding the dynamics, and the dynamics for everyone is so different. Oh, my kid is going to a varsity, or my kid is going to, play elite sports and we have to move because of that reason, or I have to relocate for work, or I just got a divorce. You don't just jump into those conversations. You learn a bit about those people first. You identify, oh, I see you like trolls, or I see you like gnomes because you got gnomes all over your lawn. Like you start with the little petty little things. Oh, your dog's name is Scout. You know what I mean? And you make a note of that. And then the next time you speak to them, now you have more information and you can continue that conversation. But you always want to make sure you get a phone number or email address. And then that's your next step into the door for your next conversation.
Yeah. And actually
starting the conversation over again, every time you see them, it's not a brand new conversation. It's a continuation of those conversations.
And Brad, those are the fundamentals of door knocking. I 100% agree with that. I guess my mindset on that conversation with that agent was, when you come up against the crux of I would move, but I don't know where I'm moving, rather than starting the conversation about the sale of their home or the value of their home, what you're saying is like, oh, we do this for relationship and building a bond, and over the period of time. You're absolutely right. As a talking point, when you guys are coming up against that conversation, book for the meeting instead of listing presentation of the value of the home. Book for that conversation about where they could go, where they want to go, right? So anyways, that was a bit of an epiphany for me, at least in talking to that agent. I thought it was a good idea as just like a nuanced part of door knocking there. So sorry to cut you off there, Brad, but actually we're kind of coming up on that 1 o'clock time. Is there anything else you guys you want to throw out there as a question right now? Any fires anyone's trying to put out right now they're kind of struggling with and crying inside about?
We hear all the crying.
Nobody's crying inside? I'd be okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Trevor, it's Justin here.
Justin.
Hey, just a quick question.
Here's your shoulder. Here's your shoulder.
Thanks. I joined just about 5 minutes late when Joanne was going through a current issue with a listing. She mentioned something about the client had admitted that she was speaking to another brokerage on how to get out of her contract. Is there any action that you can take as an agent against that brokerage for essentially assisting this client that's already under contract and how
Yes,
to break it?
and Justin, it's called interfering with a listing.
Okay.
Now the tricky part to that, of course, is can I get the name? And heaven knows I tried every objection handling to see if I could get that name, identify that company. Because if I was ever able to get that confirmation, I'd be filing that complaint myself. You're absolutely not to coach a property currently listed in any way or form, and especially not the owner of the company. That's not your, that they know better than that. So yeah, if we find out who, absolutely, Justin, there would be action taken.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. But you're all going to have hurting points from, like, you know, these are the challenging times and the frustrating times. We've got clients calling you guys crying, angry, you know, cussing you up and down. Like, these are the ugly moments that you have to have a thick skin and understand it's their stress and it's their frustration. And then, you know, you've got your own frustration. You work so hard, you put everything you possibly can into your marketing and taking care of your clients, and it doesn't always work out the way that you were hoping it would. So we're here, no kidding, that shoulder is here for you to talk about that. And again, in these sessions, like if you're having a particular struggle and you like, what can I do now? Ask. You got a lot of experience on this call that could help you and offer you some advice. So, you know, we're here to educate, inform, train, and all those things that we do. But if you're stuck with a particular situation, this is a group of people that will help you. They will help you. So ask your questions.
And so on that, we'll wrap up the call. Was there any other last comments? No?
I'd like to see everybody's face in the next meeting instead of just their names.
Good call.
I love smiling faces. Ricky, I particularly enjoyed your psychedelic show. He has the disco ball going in his house.
And I really like how Rachel can fade out the background.
I don't know what happened with my internet. Really, I don't know.
It was a good light show, Ricky. It was really good. Cool.
It looks retro, actually. Yeah.
Trevor,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
going on a bike ride to Niagara tomorrow since the weather is good. So the only thing I want to share outside of real estate, and I joined the gym, as you know, spend an hour doing something for yourself. That really changes in, you know, your mindset, and it's a different feeling. Trust me. So is door knocking. I'm sure, Brad, you agree with that, because there's a little bit of walking there too. But trust me, an hour for yourself, it just it gives you the strength to deal with the day.
100% agree.
I'm feeling it,
100%
honestly.
agree. Hey,
So-
Tony, you got a question or comment?
Okay.
Oh, there's no audio. Honey, I don't hear your audio. Hold on. Your microphone's not working, Tony. Oh, yeah, no, we can't get your comment. I'm gonna guess what your question was. I put gel and then I do a little spray. Little spray just to hold it tight. Was that your question?
Yeah.
I thought it was. We'll work on that question. Maybe
On her volume. She usually never has trouble with volume.
must be something. Yes, Ricky, go ahead, brother.
Hey, Trevor, I just have one question. This is more for our person in accounting and Christina, I guess. Are we getting a lot of offers that has an SBP or sale of buyer's property clause?
I am seeing and hearing a lot of that right now.
Okay, I'm just glad it's not only me.
No, I'm hearing that, you know, that's it. There's a 2-clause part to that. Just for those of you who don't know, you have a buyer that's interested, but they have to sell their house. You can do a condition where they have a period of time, let's say 30 days, to have that offer conditional on the sale of their home. That is a standard clause. That's if you just go into your web forms and you hit your clauses there. I don't know what you typed in. What would you type in? I don't know what you type in to search that, but maybe I can post that somewhere after this call. Usually what's accompanied by that is an escape clause then. So it's a two-parter. You have the condition for 30 days. After that 30 days, if this buyer doesn't submit a waiver, the buyer would receive that deposit back, sole discretion, all that stuff within that clause. But then there'll be a secondary that the seller wants to have. I need 48. You want to have a 48-hour escape clause for that if there is another offer that comes your way, and you want to go, oh, I got another offer. It's probably better. And then I'll give you 48 hours to either firm up or to walk away. And then you can have that escape clause to take that other offer, Ricky. I know you already knew that. I just want to kind of give an overview for those of you who have not seen that. It's coming up, and yeah.
Yeah, actually, Trevor, you should bring that to the meeting next week, because, you know, if you've been in real estate for less than 5 years, you're not used to seeing your offers have a conditional on sale. For those of us who've been around a long time, it's like that used to be normal. You would never not put that in if your property, if your buyer's backup property wasn't sold. So we've had a lot of people ask us that. So yeah, we can bring both those up in the meeting next week, Trevor.
Well, let's do that. But Ricky, if you're doing that and it is something that that's coming your way on an offer of listing that you have, make sure, of course, you do a CMA on that other property. Like, that's what I do. What's the property? Where is it? Is this a $4 million home? Forget it. We're not interested in that. Or no, my client's going to list at 1.6, and you go do the CMA on it, and you're like, this is a 1.2 house all day long.
Yeah.
No, we're not interested. Like, the details matter of that one as well too. But sure, we can jump into that next week as well too.
And also explain to your seller that the showings are going to slow down a little bit, because you have to post that as sold conditionally with an escape on the MLS system.
Yep. Which does visually, you do see it. It's SCE now, right? So you do see it's not completely like, I'm not going to go, ooh, there's an escape clause there. Tony's question, I just wanted to say that Linda and I have just reduced her Huron-Ontario Caledon from 2.299 to 1.995, 2.37 acres, 3 living areas, spaces in that. Cool. Maybe even, that'd be a good one to post inside the group there as well too, Tony, just as an FYI. We have that Facebook group, you know, don't spam it, but please use it. Please use it, right?
Yeah.
Good. Any other questions, comments?
Hey, anyone going to Buffini tomorrow, or I'm the only one?
Oh,
No?
good girl. Get there, fill up your mind with good stuff.
Again, for those of you who don't know who Brian Buffini is, that's 99% of us know who he is. If you don't, amazing speaker, amazing leader in the business, focuses on your sphere of influence, making sure you call if you knew anybody that was interested in selling real estate. Would I be the person that you refer them to? Like, there's a whole marketing plan behind that. It's solely sphere of influence, solely referrals. And you can have an amazing business just with that. So amazing speaker. Richard Robbins is later this week, or later this month as well too. Anytime you have an opportunity to hear these great coaches, they're great. All right, cool, guys. Have a wonderful week, beautiful weather. Enjoy the sun, enjoy the door knocking. We'll chat next week, guys. Bye now.
Bye, guys. Have a great week.
See ya.
Bye.